Hey Packers, this is here. Our friends are protecting families, protecting Pack. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this TradeBot Secrets open source project announcement. I'm gonna be talking about the vision for this project, and I'm gonna just lay out what I think. Now, along the way, if you're like, hey, well, this already exists, why do you need that? And maybe that's the case. Maybe we just use what's already out there. And if it is a bad idea and yet something better, please do suggest it. If you're going to criticize it, at least criticize it and bring something better. Or maybe you're the type of person that will criticize on something but then don't have anything better yourself because you don't want to be criticized, then, let's not have that, right? So if you're going to criticize it, then bring something to the table. And don't worry, we won't criticize you, okay? All right. Anyways, TradeBot Secrets. Here we go. Part 1, the open source project, the idea and vision. So I'm going to go over the story real quick, the premise behind the idea, and then the project idea, and then how we can get started, okay? All right, here goes. So, I'm always about empowering families to be able to come home and be able to be there for their kids. And it's just that both parents are working, inflation's up, it's stealing our purchasing power, and life sucks, right? And a lot of these guys are working hard, 12-hour days on their feet, in the machine shop, whatever, and they're just getting peanuts. Okay, so we want to change that. And I know that, and then there's also automation taking their jobs and all that stuff. But we'll deal with that later, kind of thing. But let's go ahead and focus on freeing you. Okay, so I've been creating a trade bot for a while, and just kind of noticed the market is constantly changing, and we're constantly changing our settings too. And try to do something like auto tuning it and switching gears if I see certain things, and it just seems like we just need to move to AI because it needs to constantly make decisions for us. Like the only thing constant is change, so we gotta change with it. Okay, so I had this idea where it's just so much bigger than myself, and it's a project that I cannot do alone. I kind of came across this TED Talk video or Microsoft. They're like, why would Microsoft and all these other people start doing open source? And it realized that the power of the community and the resources of the whole world can far surpass any one company, even Microsoft, as far as keeping the code up to date and updating it and kind of just being on top of things. Okay, now because there's so many people that can do this, it makes it a much more powerful software powered by the community itself. Call it the collective, I guess, with the anonymous guy, right? There is a lot of power in that, and I think that's the direction to go. And so it's going to be code owned by the people, and it's going to empower everyone around the world to be able to do this, okay? So we're going to work together. So my premise here is, when I was kind of managing a business and e-commerce and drop shipping, I was kind of babysitting a lot of kids and telling what to do and do this, do that, and it was just time consuming, and it kind of felt more like a job. Because I was like, dude, if I'm gonna tell you all this stuff and how to do all these little things, I might as well just do it myself, right? And so I kind of came across another methodology called Work the System by Sam Carter, where you kind of fix the leak by fixing the problem instead of like just mopping up the leak. You fix the problem with the leak, okay? And you do that through the documentation. And so the documentation is an empowering constitution that I'll kind of talk about in a little bit. And there's going to be core policy on how that kind of is managed, and then there's these standard operating procedures on kind of how to do things, okay? That as we learn stuff, we'll kind of document it. It's going to be a ever-growing documentation that we can then use to communicate any changes or any people that new people who come in. They can go through an orientation and say, hey, we've already encountered this problem already, so just make sure you don't do this, and make sure you agree to that. And that way that problem doesn't come up again. It's already documented. And then if it does come up, well, guess what? We already have something in place to kind of enforce it or put things in place or kick them out. Who knows? Whatever you want to do, whatever that governance is. So it's basically to create a self-governing system where we can make decisions and vote on. And then not only that, it leaves a legacy. Now, I know that kind of old school way of doing things is like, hey, I tell you what to do, I tell you what to do, my vision that. But I think it's the vision that I'm just gonna throw out there. It's subject to change. It could be a bad idea. It could be a bad direction. Maybe I needed someone inside to kind of help mold that. And this is ours, okay? So I don't want to say it's just mine. I'm just gonna seed it, and it could change and it could veer off where it needs to veer off, based on your expertise, what makes sense. Time's gonna change. Things are gonna go a certain way. Government crackdown. I don't know. Who knows what? Or our economy implodes, and then things are in shambles, and we need to kind of veer and turn. But the thing is that we're gonna be collectively working together to solve these issues that we're all encountering. Okay, so I need everyone to work together. Okay, and I'm just gonna provide the platform for it and a channel. Just like how you kind of look at the the Constitution of the United States, our First, Second, Third Amendment, and we have our views on that. But it basically empowers us. They're empowering constitutions, empowering amendments that allows us to create what we have today in a free capitalistic society. Imagine like just because the Second Amendment we can all carry, right, and if there was ever an invasion or whatever, guess what? We're all like guns blazing. It's not up to the government, to do everything. The people can come up too and put up barriers and protect and take out our adversaries who are invading us and whatever, if there ever comes a time. Okay. But I mean, look at Afghanistan. I don't know what the situation is, but I don't know the details. I just know that, the Taliban rolled right through it, right? And took it over in a day. But what if everyone was like guns blazing and carrying it, right? It's going to take a little time to work all the way through to the capital, just because there was an empowering amendment that allowed the people to do that. So I'm not a government. I'm just saying that, as I create this open source project to empower everyone to work together, to step up, to have the courage to say, hey, I think this works better this way. Maybe we should vote on it. Or you know what? Go ahead and work and create it. You don't need my permission to do that. All right. You have your ability. You can go ahead and type away and say, hey, I know that this, you're doing that doesn't work, but here, I've already done it. It's already done. I had a team of people that I kind of, got together, and we made this product that you just plug it right in, and we're like, oh, you're right, and we'll just plug it right in, right? So that's kind of where I want to go with that, to give you the ability where you see fit. If I need more recruitment, if you can see that, hey, I know there's expertise, so and so from university or whatever, who knows how to do this AI stuff and create all the algorithm, I'll invite them. Bring them on in, and you want to set up a meeting, you want to create your meetings to kind of organize that team to plug that in. Take charge and do it, and plug it right in. We'll use it. We don't use it. Hey, you know what? Don't worry about that. Maybe we'll use it later, and maybe as a collective, it might not be right now. Okay, so as of right now, I don't know. I'm doing this too. I don't even know that any of you are going to use it, but I have this plan, and I want to go there. All right. Do I know if it's going to change the world or not? Is it a horrible idea? I don't know, but I'm going to build it anyway, right? So I want you to think that. Just build it anyway and see where it can fit. Maybe this might fit into a bigger piece somewhere else in some other project, and who knows. Okay. All right, moving on. All right, so the work the system here. I want to talk about the Scrum methodology. If you're familiar with that, you can probably look at some YouTube videos where everyone can self-lead, self-organize, and basically swarm on an idea or problem that needs help on. So let's just say the analogy of we're all little bees or wasps or whatever. We're gathering honey or gathering insects for the mother, the queen, and also an attacker comes, right? We're gonna drop all our abilities of what we're doing, right? Whether it be gathering honey or insects, to go and attack the perpetrator, right? Did I give you a role to attack? No. Was that your job in the first place, to be a programmer? Yeah, you're a programmer or you're a graphic artist, but then someone came and attacked this problem. There's a fire, right? Then you kind of drop what you're doing and say, and you go fight the fire. Were you a firefighter? No, but you can pick up a bucket, right? And you could kind of pick up a bucket. And you could probably design the buckets to throw water. Someone else can, was maybe a soda manufacturer and was like, hey, well, I got some water, dude. Here's some water. So we can all kind of drop what we have and see how can we fit in and play a role in attacking this fire or this guy invading our nest. Yeah, I can sting him. I can maybe crawl into his nose. Whatever. I can, maybe mess with this one other nest to drop another nest on. I don't know, right? So you're gonna have to be creative about that, how you could plug yourself in. But it's basically to swarm and help each other. Maybe we work on a programming project and we're good, but then maybe like, dude, I don't know how to design this logo. And then someone's like, hey, dude, I know how to design logo. Well, jump right in, dude. Just help me out and create a logo for my thing. Or, hey, I'm creating my logo, but what does a Matrix 1 and 0 look like? Whatever. How does that? Programmer's like, dude, here he goes. Look like here. Watch the Matrix movie. I don't know, and throw it into it, and then like, oh, cool. So you work together, swarm, and help each other's problem. You don't have to be the, called to be the expert. Use self-volunteer, self-lead, self-organize, and swarm and see where someone needs help, and voice that help. Hey, I'm having struggle with this problem. I can't figure out this calculus problem. Does someone know how to solve a derivative of this? Like, dude, here it goes. I'm in university. I can solve it, right? And kind of help each other out. So it's not really being the expert at it. It's just being able to get the problem solved by finding someone who already knows how to do it for years and ages, who could just do it really quick. So just help by leveraging one another. Even though you might want to design a cool logo, but then you might as well just ask the guy that's been doing logos for 10 years, and he could do it in like 10 minutes when it's going to take you 2 days to figure out how to use Photoshop, and then do a horrible design, right? That doesn't have 10 years of experience behind it. Okay, so use one another, help one another. I'm just gonna be the platform to help facilitate that. Okay, all right, moving on. All right, so project idea. All right, so how we can like kind of have a trained neural network, like a social media like platform. All right, so the idea is to have a trained neural network social media like platform. So the analogy is that we're gonna do this YouTube neural network analogy, okay? And I'll kind of talk about this in a little bit, but let me give you the analogy. You watch YouTube, right? My car broke down. How do I change a tire? You watch the video and you change a tire, right? Or my washing machine broke, and you're like, okay, how do I fix my washing machine? Oh, there you go. Take this off, and you watch on YouTube, and you know how to fix your washing machine, or I know how to fix my RV now, right? But these are all basically people who have figured it out by either through experience, by chance, and trial and error, and eventually they figured it out and they made a video and they put it onto a platform like YouTube to teach you how to do that. Now let's say whoever did that, they have their brain that kind of their neural network, right? And they kind of figured it out, and then they trained it, and then they taught it and put it on YouTube. Now this is where I'm trying to get at, right? Now let's say you have a neural network computer, right, that has solved physics, right? It can have some sensors. It's looking at, you throw a ball. As soon as you throw a ball, it kind of shoots some lasers at it, and then range finder, and then watches it and goes, okay, your velocity is this, your acceleration is this, and it's probably going to hit like 2 feet away on these coordinates, right? And you're like, good. So you basically train your device, your IoT or Internet of Things, to kind of connect it to an AI network to kind of know physics on throwing a ball. Okay, so let's say someone's gonna wants to design a bot that can catch a pitch. A batter's gonna hit a ball, boom, and he wants a bot that can go and catch that ball, right? And just kind of play a baseball game on its own. Maybe that's the application. I'm sure there's more useful applications than catching a ball, like maybe counter defense on an attack or something like that. I don't know, but we just use the ball analogy for now, okay? So he's got a sensor set up, and he's like, dude, I don't know how to teach this thing, right? But I want to make a bot that does it. And the guy's like, dude, I have this neural network that knows how to scan. You just plug what you need in. All I need is a sensor camera and maybe a gyroscopic thing on the ball. I don't know. And then hook it up to the Wi-Fi, and you can stream WebSocket data into my neural network. And then what I'm going to spit out is the prediction of the velocity, acceleration, and the location of where the ball is going to go. And he's like, dude, that's cool. And that'll tell my bot exactly what I need, right? It's like, yeah. And so I already did it. And they're like, well, I can use it. And like, so that can go in a marketplace that can then, I don't know how you can work it out on like, how much you want to charge for that, or it could be open source or share for free. And then maybe it could be tokenized where I owe you a pat in the back. So I can issue you some tokens because you did this work. And then maybe with that, you can then use my other API because, when my bot really does work, you can kind of trade each other because you both did work for each other. We'll deal with that later, but that's just an idea on how to, tokenize based on hours of work, maybe hours of computer work. I don't know. Okay. So that's just some idea that we can branch out. All right. So, hey, Sealy. Now, what if we can design a vehicle to go warp speed, right? And the guy has like a neural network that does propulsion, a neural network that does vehicle design, a neural network that does guidance and navigation, another one that does structures, right? And it's like, dude. And then there's someone that says, hey, I want to build a spacecraft that can go warp speed so we can travel at the speed of light, right? Well, great. Let's go here to this discipline, propulsion discipline, whatever structure discipline, and this discipline, and then we kind of connect all together where they can talk to each other in this live stream neural network. So as we simulate and create, and then this one can do CAD and design it and whatever, and just kind of neural network wise with multiple computers. And I know these are all computationally intense, right? So there's going to be a computer center for propulsion, someone else is going to do this, and it's already pre-trained, and we're going to tie them all up through a WebSocket to then guide and design a CAD AI, a vehicle. Maybe it could be fully contained or whatever it is. Maybe complete it, ready to go and build it, and then it sends it off to another bot that 3D prints the thing, right? I don't know, right? In metal, all right? And then someone else assembles it. But anyways, it's just so that we can solve all these problems of warp speed that we thought at first impossible, but now could be made possible. Okay, so I kind of see some applications there. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit of YouTube video here of this design, right? These are AI generated. I'll probably link it if you want to watch it, but this guy, Incredible Inventions of Intuitive AI, and he's just talking about how AI can design certain things. Let me see. I think that was mainly here. This is a drone that was designed by AI, and for some reason it designed it to look like the hip bone of a squirrel or pelvis of a flying squirrel, because it's kind of evolved and generated through evolutionary neural networks, probably. So just like they would say evolution of how flying squirrels have evolved, it kind of moves towards that. And then there's some designs that AI has done here for an airplane, and maybe a certain structure in it, right? These ribs, instead of trying to make bolts and whatever, you kind of make these strong ribs. And this was a AI designed another panel inside the airplane, not lighter, stronger, who knows what, 3D printed cabin partition that is being designed by a computer, whatnot, right? So he's got one part done, okay? And now you're like, dude, it's already been done, so why are we doing it, right? I don't know. Maybe they didn't connect it together with propulsion and whatever else, right? So that's kind of the idea. Okay, so I see applications later. Okay, all right. So here are some open source platforms that I've kind of found that can do it already. Okay, but then it's already there. Why do we need it? Maybe the cost is expensive because of abuse. So they have to kind of throttle it through higher costs, and maybe we just use that platform. So this is a platform called Rapid API where people can connect to certain APIs like flight data and SMS and whatever business tool, location, COVID, recipes, Google Translate. So these are all APIs that you can connect, but they charge you per call or whatever it is, or you could do a membership, and then it kind of takes and draws from like maybe membership will give you 10,000 calls or something like that, and it just withdraws from that. So Rapid API is a pretty big one already. That's already out there, and we could just use it, or if it makes sense, we could use Open Channel, which is will recreate basically that map marketplace. Okay, and so they have a hosted version already. We can host it ourselves. It is open source code, so we can in a sense create our own app marketplace that would connect that all together. Okay, now the pricing and stuff, I don't know. I think it's probably going to be limited. We don't have the resources starting off to do that. That's just quite a lot. We could sign up for the free one and see how it works and maybe recreate that, or we could just download the open source code and set up on a server that I provide for you and then build it from there. So I can provide that hosting, or we can just use a hosted free for now. Whatever may work. We might have to try them both and see what works best. Maybe we don't know how to do this, then we just have to set it up already. Maybe someone knows how to do it and we can do it cheaply and faster and whatever. We can do it that way too. Alright, so now that we have the marketplace together, well, for programmers who don't know, people who don't know how to program but would like to use it, there's this thing called Node-RED, okay? And Node-RED is a basically drag and drop program where you can drag and drop nodes and basically program what you need, okay? Now I'm gonna show you a little demonstration here, which I've already set up. Okay. All right. So I have a Node-RED installed here on my custom domain, and the idea is to have every user to have their own custom domain, so that they can create their own API. So let's say, for example, we grabbed an API from wherever. It could be a device, MQTT, which is where you can live stream maybe a sensor from a robot, and then plug it into a maybe a delay, and then you can change it, say, hey, I want you to delay it 5 seconds, and then you can also do math calls and functions and stuff like, hey, whatever you delay it by, multiply by 10. There's a return message, so whatever the message is, I don't know how to do this thing yet. There's a little bit of code in here. Then you can kind of put it in the code and then return it, and then after that send it back out as a MQTT out, so that, and then you can then connect to it with like a API call. So then to connect to this one, you could say, hey, Node-RED 1, and then you kind of type flow 1, and then it'll supposedly bring that data in and then do something with it, kick it back out, and then you can probably put that API into this marketplace that you can sell, and then you can kind of process it on your computer. Okay. Now I know AWS is quite expensive, and Azure and all this other stuff, but Hetzner has been pretty good because you pay a monthly flat fee to get your computer hosted, and you get some computer resources, and I think you have bandwidth limits of 20 terabytes, which is probably more than enough, and then you can basically host these calls. Now, if these calls are just calls, right, and we're going to use a lot of computer resources, especially for trading, so we could probably bring a HTTP in, from WebSocket or something, or a WebSocket in, live trading data from Bybit, and then, do something with it if it notices that the price have changed so fast and so long, or maybe there's a velocity or acceleration when I'm doing price motion, to then trigger a sell order or a buy order, then do that, right? Then trigger the order, and then kick it out and say, hey, place the order to buy. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so there's some function there that you might have to do. There you can import extra packages into it. So it's if you need anything that you need, it's in here. Palettes. Let's see, right here. Install. It's quite an extensive module. You can do it, while loops in there, so that you can do loops, looping functions, right? And then you can loop over arrays. You can do if else statements. If, right? And you can connect AI already to like TensorFlow. You could probably connect to OpenAI's thing. And GitHub, you connect GitHub for version control. It's already in there. Git backup. So there's quite a bit of libraries that we can use to integrate into this already. Okay, and you can create new libraries that you can add onto Node-RED's library and then import it back into here. Okay, and I think it's written mainly in JavaScript. Okay, all right. So let's go back. So there's the project idea, right? We got the social media platform, and then we can create our neural networks based on sensors, or maybe you could do a propulsion AI or physics AI, guidance AI, and a CAD AI that then we can then connect together to solve and create a warp speed space vehicle. Okay, or maybe you could just connect your sensors to something that's already there. So then you could do a bunch of tests to say, hey, instead of having to solve a math problem, right, of back in the day in college, I just throw a ball and then this AI can just look at it and say, hey, this is your velocity at this point at t equals 10 seconds. Velocity is this at t equals 20 seconds, etc., right? Or for teaching bots how to walk, it can know its actuators and where its location is, and then let the AI solve and stabilize the control system, and then say, hey, I'm good to go, and now I need you to go walk over there, kind of thing. All right, so let me go back over here. Okay, so basically, applying this to the trading neural network, we can have someone with the RSI monitoring that, someone doing MACD neural network, someone doing momentum, and then kind of working together where it's like, hey, RSS says buy, MACD says buy, and the momentum says sell, and then we have a master network that then evaluates all these indicators together, and then kind of collectively make a decision on really to buy or sell ultimately, and then publishing that to automatically trade for everybody or whatever. Okay, and so we can also use different algorithms too, right? We can use the evolving one. There we go. There's NEAT. There's other recurrent real-time networks that we can use. They probably more computationally intensive, but to mainly connect all the data that we've calculated into a database WebSocket. Okay, it's like a MongoDB. Instead of storing on your computer, store the neural data on a database that persists and stays alive, that we can go back to every time. So it's going to constantly learn and evolve and grow, but we don't have to grow the neural network back from a baby and growing back to adult, right? So once it learns, it can stay and keep what it learns. Okay, we don't have to keep starting all over and try to retrain the same thing over and over. Okay, because as soon as you turn off computer, the RAM memory goes away, and then it has to relearn again, right? Unless you have somehow saved it onto a permanent database, I guess. Okay, so you can also use other neural networks, and then based on what you've created and trained, you can be incentivized in a marketplace for that strategy. So let's say you created a really good way to solve your control system that anyone can connect to. Hey, I'll solve your control problem. Just throw it in my AI and I'll fix it for you. Okay, and so that way you're not the one thinking all the time and trying to solve the problem. You have the AI that solves your control problems for you. This might put engineers out of work. Oh no, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We can be enjoying the beach, right? Whatever. But then once you dump what you learn onto it, right, you don't have to keep going to it. You're just like, hey, dude, just connect to my stuff, man. Don't worry. My marketplace is right here. I'll solve your trajectory problem. I'll solve your structures problem. I'll solve your propulsion, your fuel pump, your whatever pump. I'll CAD it for you. I'll throw everything I've taught this CAD and just connect to it. We'll CAD you something, all right? So, and it's a marketplace that could generate passive income for you because you're hosting it, you're providing the AI, and you're kind of maintaining it. And then you might have to grow those resources if you have more connections for it or whatever kind of thing. Okay, but then we can all work collectively to towards a solving a common goal. Okay. All right. Let's see here. All right. So I think I talked about all this, right? There's some open source code that we're gonna piece together. Node-RED is a low code programming. We drag and drop stuff. You can train the neural networks. So I was thinking that we need to probably recode the neural network, the neat. Yeah. Okay. We're so good. Okay. So the neat code, I need to get out of here, is already open source. It's called Neat Python, and it's right here, open source Python. And I was thinking about rewriting this code here because it stores in local computer memory. There's probably a way to maybe change it so that it stores it onto a MongoDB database. I'm not familiar with Python and not sophisticated enough to do it yet. But I was thinking about recreating this code in Node-RED, which would take me too much time to do, and maybe a good month or two to really figure it out and get it going. But once it's on here, I could then connect Bybit or BitMEX or whatever into this and create separate libraries that can then connect. We drag it in, and then it can then save onto the database, and then everyone else can collectively use this based on what it's learned, because it's going to keep learn from everyone else piping into this stuff, okay? And it can know what, if it was successful or not, and kind of have a they call it fitness parameter, fitness function, or whatever it is. If it made a lot of money and learned what it did, then it'll probably do it again. Okay. All right. So, and I think you've already seen the Mar.io, what it can do. I'm not gonna really go over it, but I'm just gonna take you to it. Watch this video here, Mar.io, where it uses neural network as Mar is jumping up and down. I kind of foresee stock prices going up and down, and it's figuring how to jump and catch the wave and come down with it, kind of thing. So, and that's using the neat neural network. Okay. All right. So yeah, I was thinking about rebuilding or integrate Neat into Node-RED somehow, because you can import functions. It is written in JavaScript, so I don't know. Maybe we just change it so that it can use WebSocket connections, and then store the models that it learns from its trades into a database that it can then do for other people also. Okay. And this also allows for all no-code people who don't really have coding experience to also modify, make tweaks, and change things here and there by learning how to drag and drop Node-RED stuff. Okay. Okay. And then and what's cool about that is Internet of Things, so you could totally connect your house lights and stuff. You can learn, whether you're in and out of the house or not. And then when you go on vacation, it'll kind of simulate the lights going on and off kind of thing, and whatever. Of course, people might be like, "Oh, that's scary," and this and that, but it's. Of course, we have to work on security issues too, and make sure it's safe with two-factor or whatever security implementation. If anyone knows about that, volunteer yourself to contribute in that area. And know that we can't do these alone, and then there's issues raised. If you raise them, then raise it in the Discord, so that we can talk about it and find people who knows about that area and fix it instead of being a complainer about it, right? We don't want to do that. We want to be problem solvers. So if there's a problem, suggest it, and then find a solution to it so that we can put it together. All right. I need solutions, not complaints. I mean, you can complain, but not as in like what's it called, a constructive complaint with a solution, right? So you say, hey, this is not cool. There's a problem here. Here's a fix. That's cool. All right. And say, hey, this is the problem, but I don't know what to do about it. Like, well, that's not helping. Okay. So, if you see the problem, that's good, but go find a solution to it. Or hey, I need a solution. So does anyone have and take lead, self-lead that, self organize that team to solve that problem that you see. And then integrate it into it. Okay, so you're gonna have to put on the project management hat. I don't know how many more. Someone has tons of money that they made from crypto, maybe that they want to put into this project, but they have nowhere else to invest because, whatever. You think about it, government can print money, right? So the problem is not money anymore. It's the problem is how do I spend it, infrastructure project, and empire and control and whatever, right? So, and some people have that problem, right? They're like, dude, I don't have all those money, but I have ideas, right? So I'm sure they'll wouldn't mind funding a project or two to get it done or whatever. I don't know, or provide servers or whatever. Okay. All right. So moving on. Where are we? All right. So the idea. So we're gonna either try to rebuild the Neat or integrate Neat into Node-RED to allow for WebSocket connections. We're gonna train the models to be stored in the database, and then that'll allow for code. We talked about that. The idea is to then change the current Neat Python code, which I showed you already. Repeating myself, create the API for in and out to train the model, and then make it so it's reusable, so that other people can train the model for different applications. Run parallelization on shared computer resources so that you can have multiple computers work together on the Neat model. Okay, so if there's 20 trades going out on the same coin, hey, we can connect them all together and then kind of like kill off the bad ideas and keep the good ones, and then make those neurons so that they can come up with a better parent, and then kind of propagate the evolution of that working neuron. Okay, and then once we get something good, we can then sell or share the trained model in the marketplace. Maybe there's a barter token system. Say, hey, since I got this, well worked together on this neuron, but then I still gotta pay for this VPS. So maybe you do 20 requests from me, then you owe me 20 requests on whatever you created or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it can be a token that you can spend it. I got it from got 20 tokens from this guy. I can trade it for something else. Okay, so or maybe some kind of a monetary system. I don't know. That's my other video on my other project, where a monetary system where we can somehow tokenize our time. Okay, so we spend enough time on one project, that 1 hour is worth a certain amount of tokens, or maybe 1 hour per token. I don't know. Why is my life any more different than your life? But we have to deal with the issue of like, does my 1 hour engineering work equal your 1 hour of surgeon work on a brain, right? Can I trade that? What makes me any different than you? Maybe you have more focus on the skill. I still spent the same time, right? I spent 10 years. You spent 10 years. I don't know, learning what I learned. And does that make you more skilled because there's less of you? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you're worth twice that. So that's like kind of like those issues we need to talk about on how to say, hey, you know what? It's okay. Even though I, maybe it's a need. Yeah. It's like, hey, even though I have 10 years experience, you have 20, but like, dude, hey, don't knock the door right now. I'm using video. Go away. Hold on. So, oh yeah, okay, he's gone. All right, anyway, so, but maybe you're desperate right now because, dude, like, hey, my kid is dying. I will pay you 10 times of what I made for your 1 year. Maybe it's that. But when I'm not desperate because he's good, I might not need your skill's not as valuable to me anymore, right? So it's kind of personal situations and time. Maybe it's not worth it now, but I can't create those standards, right? It's up to the market. Do you need it now? Do you need it later? I don't know. Maybe depending on your situation, it's more in demand, right? So, okay. All right. So, when we create an API in and out. All right. So yeah. Okay. We're gonna talk about that. Okay. Future potential. Okay. So with this marketplace, it can empower many non-programmers to connect the WebSocket data. Maybe they can manipulate that data with the algorithm that they create, publish it back to the marketplace, and create passive income for that data that they've generated. Okay. Maybe it's a fishing data. Maybe I have a boat sonar scanner thingy, and I found fish in this area, and I can publish it here. And you have a bot that goes fishing, and you're like, dude, this guy found it. Let's go get it. Kind of thing. I don't know. All right, and then or solve control systems with AI. Let a bot teach itself how to walk. Connect to IoT, stream the sensor data, read the output by the AI, and then make corrections. Or you could integrate multidisciplinary engineering disciplines already solved by the AI. Just like the what I've talked about before, just summarizing everything. A top-level vehicle, a spacecraft that uses disciplinary engineering disciplines. That's all solved by AI. And then the AI can then design a CAD product that solves that issue, and then someone can go 3D print it, kind of thing. Okay. So I see not just solving our I guess our trading issues or finances, but once we have our finances all squared away, I see us maybe solving other bigger problems like medical, scientific, locating cancer. Maybe there's a sensor that can sniff or know that there's cancer in their system. Maybe there's a scan they can analyze and say, hey, there's a cancer cell there, and then figure out a way to go after it. Some scientific stuff, maybe some quantum theory stuff, quantum mechanics that we haven't solved yet, maybe some engineering problems that we have on the traffic and how do we solve that. Energy problems, maybe the fusion reactors that they're trying to make, or those Tesla batteries. Who knows? Maybe someone can get a better battery. How do we solve our global warming issues? And then problems that have that there, but we just haven't solved yet, right? So we can run it through AI, and we have less people working on it, maybe AI could just solve it for us, right? And so we're gonna go into this age where this, oh no, Terminator's coming or whatever. I don't know, right? So maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's a bad idea, maybe it's gonna happen whether I'm here or not. It's just gonna go there, so might as well be a part of it. But I say maybe just look for the good in it. Okay, we might have our fears. I mean, sure, back in the day, oh man, these cars are gonna be hitting people. Oh no, we should go back to horses, right? But no, of course they hit each other, but we solve those problems too with airbags and other things and traffic and whatever. And it still happens, but it happens less. Maybe we'll have flying cars by then. I don't know. We won't need it anymore, right? So there's always gonna be new problems to solve. I know it might create solving this problem might create another problem, but then that gives us more problems to solve and more ways to better our lives and ourselves and to be a part of. And I kind of have a better positive mental mental ability, not ability, but positive mental attitude towards where this is going. So I know you might have some concerns too. I kind of foresee the Terminator and those are movies, whatever kind of thing, or we could all be plugged into a Matrix later on, who knows. But those are all movies, right? And if we kind of already know, then maybe we can do something to maybe put some things in place already so that it doesn't go into that part where we still maintain control, and that we don't completely put ourselves out of a job, and that we don't completely be lazy about it, or maybe there's certain things where we want to solve problems that we don't want the robot to solve, like ethical and moral issues, right? So it has to wait for us to say, hey, do you want to do this or not? Like, I don't know. Kind of thing. So, alright, anyways, thanks for watching. This is all I have for the plan. Let me go ahead and talk about the platform. So if you're interested in contributing to this project, how can you get involved? Okay, so I'm going to leave a link in the description of this video to my Discord, and I've kind of created here called Open Source TBS AI Bot. And I'm going to put this video onto here so we can kind of get an idea. And then I'll put the GitHub project that I've created here. And this outlays the, you like the wiki here. On the right side, there's these pages. The home kind of outlines the idea, the Discord, how you can contact me. Tag me at HeandQuack. I'm going to need help with moderating GitHub, Discord, filtering out people, screening out people who want to apply. Create a channel that empowers them to apply what they want to learn, maybe a database for their resumes to be put up so that we can find people to help each other, put their LinkedIn profiles maybe, if that helps, put that together. Some contributor positions to fill. These are just what I can think of. If they're not on here, you think they should be on here, tell me or tell someone. I'm going to give someone admin privileges to edit this. If you want to be the contributor to monitor this, please let me know. I'm basically giving off every control I have on everything here. So I can't do everything. If you have a better story, if you want to create my story and turn it into a video, if you want to create a design that makes it look better, if you want to create this, tell the story, yeah, and dictate it, turn it into a video so I can promote it. You go advertising, do it. You go to recruiting, let me know, do it. Invite them here, and here's the basically the constitution basically. So Constitution of TradeBot Secrets, this is the Scrum methodology. Go over that. Openness. Everyone's encouraged to propose new ideas, raise impediments, propose a way to fix, to be a problem solver, self-organized, self-lead, to be open. If you need anything, you need access to the server, you need access permission levels to manage certain things. Do it. You need to schedule a meeting, do it. You need to organize some teams together to come together and do it. If you want to just do it and just show me and we'll talk, do it. And then what am I going to do? I basically kind of feel I do and go where I think it needs to go, okay? If all the feedback I get is maybe use what we have, then we'll use what we have. If the feedback I have is to maybe do it and hire some guy, then I'll try my best to find some guy who's willing to do it. If someone wants to invest and put money into it, and do it. If someone wants to create a corporation behind it and we put members and core members and team members who actually want to be part owners of it, then do it. And then take it somewhere and do it. Like whether I'm part of it or not, I don't care. I just want to start this and put it out there and see where it goes. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so that's all I have. I don't know too much about GitHub. I might need a coder guy to maybe manage this, create some policies, create pull requests, review the code. I'm not a coder, so I don't know what to do. There's no codes on there right now, and all I have is just the vision of what I'd like it to go, and it's not set in stone. And I'm open to better ideas and better planning and better project management and more experienced people than I would ever be. And you could probably tell me what to do if you need help, and like, hey, you need to step aside and just do more videos. Fine, I'll go do some more videos. All right, someone needs to edit your videos, dude. Your videos never get edited. So I'm like, dude, I totally do need a video editor. Is there anyone out there like edit my videos? All right. I think that's all I have. Now I would also open up the since I created a TradeBot with Ubot Studio. Any contributor that wants to contribute and say, hey, you know what, give me a license. Like, dude, okay, if you're gonna be contributing, I would say in the core team, where you kind of just really involved, and I'll probably say, hey, here's a couple months here. And then, like, dude, you're just here all the time. Here, just take a year, just have at it, and just use it, kind of thing. So, at this point, I'm like, I'm going to give out what I have already done to kind of progress this, and I think that's what I could probably contribute. Now, the bot is, it's okay. It's okay, Here, I have some settings that are pretty consistent now, but at 1/2, 2-3% a day, which is still pretty good, right? And just kind of go with that, okay? And use it to pay for you or whatever it is, and just kind of what you need. Just let me know, okay? I'm kind of very generous right now, and I just want to work together as a community. So I'm really contribute what I have. I have some servers set up. You can put it on there. If I need to expand some more servers, I'll pay for some more. I'll buy the domain. I'll maybe buy a logo guy. Get some, whatever. Okay, you got me. All right, just tell me what you need. Okay, and then they just kind of work together. You tell me what you need. You tell me what I need to get this going and working, and let's do it. All right, let's work together. All right, talk to you later. Thanks for watching.